All right, this is day 3 of our explanation. So let's just recap. On day 1, we did a plan, which looked like this. We came up with our question. We came up with our things that were required in order to achieve the process. Then we came up with a draft of our piece of writing. Okay, so you've all done that. Day 3 is where you go through this and you carefully edit it for things to make sense. Is it the right topic that you're doing? Like, is it a step that you've missed? Or, could you add something in there that makes a bit better sense? Punctuation, spelling, grammar. All right, are the paragraphs good? Have you got the language required in there? From last week, remember we learned about the language. So you should spend a little bit of time on that to proofread and make sure that's all spot on. Then what you do is you're going to create a PowerPoint. Okay. Now this is what it could possibly look like. So there's 2 options that you may make it look. I'll show you the 2 options that I'm expecting you to create. All right. So this is my one. So remember how when we first started last week, I showed you one on the traffic lights. So this is my finished traffic lights one. All right. So I've got an introduction slide. All right. So traffic lights. Why do we need traffic lights? That was my inquiry of explanation. Now, obviously, you're doing it on the 3 topics that you needed to choose, so you can do that. So this is one way that you can do it. On the second slide, I have my introduction. Okay. On the third slide, I have my first body of paragraph. So this one here, all it does is talk about the traffic on the road and the congestion of why we need traffic lights. Then, so this is the important part, I've got diagrams to show how traffic lights talk to each other to help with the traffic flow. Very important part of the explanation report. All right. Third, talk about the colours on the traffic light. Then I've got a picture. All right. Then my last one is all about the pedestrian traffic. And then once again, this is how a diagram of how the actual pedestrian traffic goes. Okay. So in all the explanation reports, you need some form of diagram or picture to help show what process you're explaining. Okay. So this is one way that you can do it. You can do a different slide for each topic or each body paragraph and then have the diagrams. All right. This is a possible second way that you could do it depending on what you're doing. All right. So this one here is one that somebody else has already created. As I said, so I didn't do this one. So this is an explanation report on the water cycle. So as you see up here, we've got the introduction. All right, they've talked about it in a broad range. Over here, you see the actual diagram of how the water cycle works. So you see here they've got 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 2 over here as well. Okay, so they're the steps in the process of a water cycle. Then they break it down. So how does the water cycle work? So here's the 5 steps. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which go with this diagram. All right. So they've basically told me exactly 100% how the water cycle works. And then they've sort of finished it off and told us a little bit, gave us some facts on the water. All right. So this bit here is not that important, but if you put one in there like that, absolutely fantastic. All right. So you've got 2 options. If you can somehow fit it in on one page, by all means, fit it on one page. But you're going to find it very, very difficult. All right. So that's why I've created my one on all different slides. As I said, how you choose to do it is totally up to you. But what there will be at the end of the on Thursday, there will be. I'll open up a task which will have explanation report, and then you just upload your PowerPoint to it, exactly the same way that you've been uploading your weekly times tables throughout the term. Okay, and then that way there, I've got a finished PowerPoint and of your explanation report. Now, that doesn't get finished till Thursday. Do not. Well, that's why I'm not doing it till Thursday, actually. So don't even have to worry about this. But do not send it to me if there's spelling errors. Do not send it to me if there's no diagram. Do not send it to me if there's no paragraphs. Do not send it to me if there's no introduction. Please make sure that it's a proper explanation report with the introduction, the body paragraphs, hopefully a conclusion, and definitely diagrams of your explanation process. All right. So this is what I expect it to look like at the end. All right. But as I said, you'll be working on that on Wednesday and Thursday to make it look all beautiful and pretty and very limited spelling errors. So good luck, and I can't wait to read your explanation reports.